It's a pretty wild thought, right?
Yeah, it kind of freaks me out a little bit, to be honest. But like, when you think about it, our eating habits, and how our lifestyles are these days, and like if you have indigestion pretty regularly, that can all lead to food building up in your system, and it's not just about, feeling bloated.
Yeah, it goes way deeper than that, right?
Yeah.
And what's interesting is like what they talk about in all these sources we've looked at is that like this food that's just sitting there, it can actually like become toxic in your body.
Toxic. Wow.
Yeah, when we say toxic here, it's more about the buildup of like waste and stuff that's not moving.
Yeah.
You know. And the sources actually link this to all kinds of problems like skin problems and even scarier stuff like a higher risk of cancer and problems absorbing nutrients from your food, which is called malabsorption, and of course, all the digestive issues you can imagine.
Okay, so not good. It really makes you think about what's going on in there.
It does.
So today we're going to really dive deep into some like powerful techniques to cleanse your digestive system based on all this research that we've been doing. Consider this like your cheat sheet to understanding this really important part of your well-being, right? We're doing the heavy lifting so you don't have to.
Exactly. And one thing that really jumps out from the research is this technique called Shankh Prakshalan.
Shankh Prakshalan.
It might sound a little intimidating, but it's basically a super thorough way to cleanse both your small and large intestines.
Okay, Shankh Prakshalan. Not the easiest word to say,
Yeah.
but the process itself is pretty specific. You're supposed to do it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach, and you drink like 10 glasses of warm boiled water with salt dissolved in it. But they're very clear about the salt concentration. It needs to be about the same saltiness as your tears.
Yeah, like your tears. So, if you've ever accidentally tasted a tear, you know how salty that is?
I have, actually.
That's about how salty the water should be. And that specific saltiness, it's important because it helps the water move through your system without being absorbed too much.
Okay, that makes sense.
So it's like a flush.
So you drink 3 glasses of this salty water, slowly taking deep breaths.
That's right.
Okay, then what?
All right, so then it's time for some movement. You don't just drink the water and wait for something to happen. There are these specific yoga poses, asanas, that you do in a certain order to help that water move through your system.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
So the first one is called Talasana, or the palm tree pose.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you stand up tall, raise your arms above your head while you inhale, go up onto your toes, hold it for a moment, and then come back down.
I can picture it.
You do that about 6 times.
6 times, okay.
And the reason they start with that is it's kind of like a full body stretch. It gets you prepped and opens up some space in your abdomen for the next moves.
Makes sense. So what's next?
Next is Konasana. So for this one, you interlace your fingers, stretch your arms up over your head, and then bend sideways while you're inhaling. You do that 6 times on each side. And then we have Vakrasana, which is a standing spinal twist. So you stretch your arms out in front of you and twist your torso to each side, also 6 times. This one specifically helps with movement in your abdominal area.
Oh, I like that one.
So a good one. And then there's Katichakrasana, which is a deeper spinal twist. You put one hand on the opposite shoulder and the other one behind you. This one's all about wringing out your abdomen.
Like a washcloth.
Exactly. It helps to loosen and move any stuff that might be stuck in there.
Okay, Katichakrasana, 6 reps on each side. Got it. What's next?
Next is Triaka Bhujangasana. So for this one, you lie on your stomach and lift your upper body like you're doing a cobra pose, and then you twist your head to look back at your big toe on each side.
Well, that sounds like a nice stretch.
It is. It stimulates digestion and detoxification.
2 birds, 1 stone.
And last but not least, we have a variation of Vajrasana, which is basically sitting on your heels and you just alternate lifting each knee and pressing it against your abdomen.
A little intestinal massage.
Exactly.
I love how each of these movements seems so targeted. It's like they're designed to hit every part of your system.
It's really smart.
Right. So after all those poses, what happens next?
Well, the process isn't over just yet. After the asanas, you drink 2 more glasses of the salt water, and then you repeat the whole sequence of yoga poses, and you keep doing this cycle until the water coming out of your system is totally clear. That's the sign that everything's been cleansed.
Wow, dedication.
So this is not a quick process.
No, it's a commitment.
Yeah.
But the source emphasizes that you should really rest afterwards because it can be pretty tiring. And there's a very specific diet you're supposed to follow for the next 2 days. It's mainly fruits and boiled vegetables, but no strong spices, no onion or garlic or masalas. You can have lemon juice diluted buttermilk and other light meals. It's all about giving your system a break.
That makes sense. And no meat, right? Exactly. No meat, no spicy food, no processed food, just gentle stuff to help your body recover.
Okay, so this Shankh Prakshalan, it sounds intense but effective. Are there any like warnings or things people should know before trying it?
Definitely. You should
That.
never force yourself to drink more water than you can handle and stop the whole thing if you start feeling sick or super tired.
Okay, safety first.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this isn't something you do every week. The sources recommend doing it maybe once every few months at most. And super important, if you have severe ulcers or any heart conditions or extreme acidity, you should avoid Shankh Prakshalan altogether.
It's always best to check with your doctor before trying anything like this, right? Especially if you have any health concerns.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay, so that's the deep dive into a very deep cleanse.
Deep dive indeed.
Now let's talk about something a little more gentle and something you can do more regularly, a high-fiber diet.
Yeah, a high-fiber diet is like a natural detox for your system. It's all about keeping things moving and preventing constipation, which is a big reason why waste and toxins build up in the first place.
So fiber is like a scrub brush for your insides.
Basically.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of research showing that a high-fiber diet can lower your risk of colon cancer.
So what are some good examples of high-fiber foods?
With cucumbers, tomatoes, carrots, all those leafy green vegetables. The source even suggests having a whole plate of fruits, like apples, papaya, bananas, and citrus fruits as one of your daily meals.
That sounds delicious.
And instead of grabbing a bag of chips or cookies, reach for some fruit. That's a much better way to snack.
It's a simple swap, but it can make a big difference.
Right. It's about making those little changes that support your body's natural processes.
Okay, so high-fiber diet check. Now what about lemon juice? I've heard that's good for cleansing.
Yeah, lemon juice is a classic detoxifier. It's full of vitamin C, which can help cleanse the colon. They recommend starting your day with a glass of warm water and some freshly squeezed lemon juice.
It's a pretty common health tip, but it's good to see it specifically mentioned for colon health.
It is. And something they really emphasize along with the lemon juice is staying hydrated. They say it's important to sip water throughout the day, not just gulp it down.
Okay, so slow and steady wins the race.
Exactly. And they even suggest a little routine for hydration. A glass of water 30 minutes before meals, another glass an hour after meals, and then throughout the day you can have herbal teas, buttermilk, more lemon juice, soups, all sorts of things to keep those fluids up.
So it's not just about drinking water, it's about getting fluids from different sources.
Right, because when you're dehydrated, it can actually make constipation worse and slow down your body's natural detox process.
So keep those fluids coming.
Exactly.
All right, so we've got high-fiber diet, we've got lemon juice. What else is there?
Well, there's also the world of probiotics, which are great for maintaining a healthy gut.
Probiotics, those are the good bacteria, right?
Exactly. And one of the sources specifically mentions curd, which contains lactobacillus bacteria. These little guys can help prevent indigestion, bloating gas, and they also improve your nutrient absorption.
It's amazing how much these tiny bacteria can do.
It really is. And it all comes down to what we call the gut microbiome, which is basically this huge community of bacteria, viruses, fungi, and other microorganisms that live in your intestines.
It sounds like a whole ecosystem in there.
It is. And keeping that ecosystem balanced is crucial, not just for digestion, but for your immune system and even your mental health.
Wow, so much more than just digestion.
Probiotics are like the good guys
Yeah.
that help maintain that balance.
Okay, gut health is important. I'm getting that message loud and clear.
Loud and clear.
Now, what about yoga? I know there are certain poses that can help with digestion, too.
Absolutely. And there's one pose in particular mentioned in the source called Mandukasana, which is all about detoxifying the intestines by applying pressure to your abdomen.
Okay, tell me more about that one.
So there are 3 variations of this pose. The basic one is you place one palm over your navel and then put your other hand on top of that. You take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, you bend forward, holding the pose for a few moments.
So you're pressing on your stomach.
Exactly. And that pressure stimulates blood flow to the digestive organs and helps release waste products.
Interesting.
Then there's another variation where you join your fingertips together to make a triangle shape, and you press that gently against your stomach as you bend forward.
Okay, so different ways of applying pressure.
Exactly. And the third variation, you make fists with both hands and put them on either side of your navel. You press firmly and then bend forward.
So like a double fist pump for your gut?
Kinda.
Yeah.
The source says that these different variations can improve the hygiene of your colon and just generally make your digestion better.
So we've covered a lot of ground here, from the intense cleanse to the high-fiber diet to the lemon juice to the probiotics to the yoga. It seems like the main takeaway is that gut health is super important.
It really is. It's like the foundation of your overall well-being.
Yeah.
And if we go back to that idea of food hanging out in your intestines for too long, well, the sources are very clear. that good digestion, nutrient absorption, and efficient waste elimination are key to a healthy body.
And they don't just talk about digestive problems either. They link poor gut health to things like skin problems, hair loss, high blood pressure, diabetes, asthma, even joint pain.
It's pretty wild how many things are connected to your gut, right?
Yeah.
It really makes you think twice about what you're putting in your body.
It does. So all of these techniques that we've talked about today, they're all about helping you create a cleaner, healthier internal environment.
Exactly.
Mm.
And it's important to remember that everyone's different. So what works for one person might not work for another. Listen to your body, pay attention to how you feel, and of course, if you have any concerns, talk to your doctor.
Always good advice.
Yeah.
So to sum it all up, having a clean and healthy digestive system isn't just about feeling good physically. It can actually impact your mental clarity, your energy levels, your overall sense of well-being.
It's all connected.
So for everyone listening out there, be mindful of what you eat, stay hydrated, and consider incorporating some of these cleansing techniques into your life.
And one last thing to think about. Given everything we've learned about the connection between your gut and your overall health, how might your daily food choices be affecting not just your digestion, but your energy levels and even your mood? It's something to really ponder. It goes way beyond just what's happening in your stomach.
Food for thought, literally.
Exactly.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into gut health.
It's been a pleasure.
And we'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration.
See you then.